Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Tuesday market review. Out here, going to be taking a look at the market for the week ahead, discussing Bitcoin, ETH, DXY, and some altcoins I have my eyes on for the week ahead. Let's get into the video. This video is for informational purposes only and reflects my personal views. It's not financial advice, and please always consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. So we're going to start off on Bitcoin as usual. Right now we are trading below this 108k. I've started with this chart and sort of marked this level basically because it's the key level for Bitcoin to reclaim, right? This 108k area, it goes back all the way towards December 2024. And when we look at, this area has been a significant price point for BTC, was resistance, then flipped for support during our summer range, and then now we're back under this area, right? So for BTC to really have a bullish continuation move for the rest of the year, we want to see it flip that 108k. You can see that we're kind of back within this range from May, June here. This is also if we look at the value areas on the VWAPs, which I'll look at shortly. We are back within this June value. So right now, I'm not surprised if we just continue to chop under this 108k region. But for obvious reasons, if this turns out to be a deviation and Bitcoin does reclaim 108k, I think buying a flip above 108k is going to be your easiest place to start to risk back on into the market in terms of looking for upside. Right now, the market remains a little bit shaky. Altcoins remain very weak, but majors are looking at, they're looking okay, and we'll discuss that a little bit further shortly. But a reclaim back above 108k, that is your place to look for a breakout back higher. A good chance the market would move towards all-time high and even price discovery. So discussing the breakout, you can see I've got this sort of daily trend line, or what I like to call a meme line. So historically, over this cycle, the meme lines have actually been a pretty key way of looking at a trend for Bitcoin. And the more you spot them, the more you notice how it really has been as easy as waiting for the daily meme line to break on BTC, wait for a good structure shift, and that's when the market tends to move up, right? So we can look at the example from back here, back in January through to April, had the same thing, right? Market was stuck under this resistance, right? And then eventually we get that flip from that resistance, we get a structure shift, and you see how the market broke out. Again here, BTC was stuck in this sort of daily downtrend, right? Then we get that break, flip, price moved up. We can date this all the way back. We can keep going back and look at many examples of this all the way back into summer last year, right? We've got that daily trend line. Eventually we get that structure break. We get that flip of resistance, right? We eventually flipped range high, and you can see how the market broke out, right? And there's plenty of examples of this. I won't show you them all, but we have one here. We have one, here, and it dates back. So pretty much from here, what you want to look at is a 108k reclaim, right? So that reclaim back above 100k, then you would see a really nice shift in structure, and there's a good chance this breaks out back towards all-time high, not only because of the daily breakout, because you have that deviation and that reclaim. And right now, that's sort of the structural outlook of Bitcoin. Obviously, we are clearly in a downtrend. We are at risk right now of putting in a sort of bearish retest here on the weekly. So it's fairly important that, BTC can reclaim 108k sharpish. Otherwise, I think we're going to go for new lows. The monthly side of things, we are retesting. If I go onto this chart, I'll show you what this chart actually. In the monthly side of things, we are retesting monthly support. There's no change in that outlook. As long as the monthly can hold 102k on Bitcoin, then this looks good to act as a support area before a bounce higher into the end of the year. If we do close the monthly under 102k, that would be quite bearish. Equally, closing the monthly above 108k would be really, really good and likely lead to much higher prices. So that's the sort of structure side of things right now that I have to comment on BTC. So we'll discuss sort of the intraday side of things, but overall plan remains the same. As long as the weekly can hold 102k and we don't break below here, I remain bullish on Bitcoin for the rest of the year, especially if it can reclaim 108k. If we start to accept below 102, 101, there's a good chance that this was officially the cycle top, and we're probably going to bleed out into sub 80 over the next few months and look at rebuying in summer next year. So yeah, overall a very, very important place to hold into this 102k region, and more importantly, flipping 108k is important for bulls as well. So looking at the intra-week side of things right now, we did form a weekend gap, which we have now backfilled, and discussed this in the Discord and also on Twitter. Make sure you check out the link at the top of the description to join the Discord. trading a lot there at the moment, discussing the market a lot, daily streams and live trading going on right now. So make sure you guys check out the link at the top of the description if you want to join out. But this weekend was backfilled. The move up that we had, right? We had this weekend gap between that weekly open and the Friday close. Weekend gap backfilled. And historically, when the market does form these weekend gaps and when the market does trade up on a weekend, we can see Friday close goes back to here. So this is the Friday close. So what we had was that sort of move down and then eventually moved up, and then that's the Friday close. That was the weekly open. And then what you have is this sort of like weekend trading gap. We've now backfilled it to the Friday close. So if anything, it's quite a nice place to look for a reversal on the intraday and intra-week side of things. If we are to see some continuation on BTC, then, you know, we kind of want to look from this sort of region, and I'll discuss that a little bit further shortly. So yeah, looking at the daily time side of things, these are our key levels right now: 102k, 108k, and 123k. If we do break back under 102k, I'm fairly sure we're going to sweep towards these lows. And from here, this is a very, very important place to hold. If we fail to hold here, like I said on the previous sort of chart, we are going to shoot out towards low 80s, in my opinion. So that would be an invalidation for my spot on Bitcoin. When we look at the values, we're trading into this developing yearly value. We are trading under the developing quarterly value area low and also under that 2025 Q2 value area high, which, you know, has been a significant place for price, and now we're rejecting from it. So as of right now, we are at risk of this being a bearish retest on the daily and on the weekly side of things. So a really important place for Bitcoin to now hold is into this 103k region. I'm fairly certain if we don't hold 103k, we're probably going to shoot out for the lows. So overall, I'm going to be looking for some reversal triggers into this area for fresh longs this week. But if I don't get anything, then I'm not going to force the market. Mostly been shorting right now. I think I'll talk about altcoins towards the end of the video, but I think altcoins are favorable for shorts right now, just based on this trend, right? Like the higher time frame trend for Bitcoin remains down, so we should favor looking for shorts on altcoins, right? Any move up on alts, I think we're looking to short down. But this is the first place I'm starting to look for potential longs on altcoins into this area. Going to keep an eye on my system and whether it signals any good buy triggers equally on Bitcoin, which I'll talk about now. So we did start to print some buy signals here into this prior weekly VWAP. So overall, I'm looking for potentially some reversal down here, like I said, into that weekend gap, into that prior weekly VWAP, and also into the developing monthly VWAP here. But we are just ranging, right? We are just within this ranging environment, so it's not necessarily a looking for a breakout, but at least maybe a move back towards 108k where we can consider, okay, are we going to flip there and break up higher, or are we destined to range chop or bleed out? You know, that's going to be that 108k. If we do test there, that's going to be our outlook and our thought process. So yeah, moving into this area, I'm looking for some reversal triggers, but right now on the weekly side of things and on the lower time frame, this trend looks strong. This is not something I necessarily want to bid into, even though I had some buy signals flash up. I do want to see a flip back inside this 2.5 to 3 standard deviations, and we can look for a long. As of right now, this looks really aggressive. This is not something I would long into, so personally holding off, and I will post in the group when I start to consider a long setup. Another thing to mention is the Z-score into this area on Bitcoin. Historically, when the Z-score has been this low on the weekly time frame over the past, well, basically for this cycle, we can see here time and time again, this has marked a bottom for Bitcoin. So I am continuing to look for a local bottom into sort of 101k down into the high 90s. I think that does make sense to look for a bottom. And like I said, if we don't hold here, which I'm kind of looking for today, I think today if we don't hold here, then we are destined to probably sweep the lows under here. And that's where I would look for a big swing long on Bitcoin into the mid 90s, into this 95k region, under these lows, into that quarterly naked VWAP. Equally on the monthly down here into this minus 2.5 to 3 standard deviations. So lots to discuss here, which I will quickly reiterate, right? So looking at the simple chart right now, 108k, right? Key level for us to get above, right? From here, I do think this is a nice place to look for an intra-week bounce to new highs, maybe a higher low get put in here, right? And we can look for a move towards 108k where we really test the bullish strength for the market. Obviously above here, we reclaim and we go to like all-time high. So from here, I am looking for some long triggers. Like I said, the trend right now on the weekly side of things is a little bit too strong, but I will consider a long if we start to flip back inside this back above this 2.5 to 3 standard deviations. Fail to hold here, then there's a good chance we're shooting out for these lows into mid 90s, where I think this is a swing long place, right? This is kind of your last opportunity down here to really get long in the market. And if this fails, if this basically fails down here under 100k, you know, we can confirm that this was the cycle top and we are destined for much lower for the rest of the year. Until then, I think it's good to look for some longs into here if we get a good trigger or a target of 108k. And if it does fail, then next stop is 98k. Ideally should get some strong buys on the sort of 1 day, 3 day, and also the 4 hour on the monthly VWAP. If we do go down into mid 90s, that should be a good trigger. You can see historically buying into the 2.5 to 3 standard deviations on the quarterly has been very profitable. So I think if we did go down there, it should be a good place to bounce. Okay, to slowly wrap things up now, ETH currently trading under the 2024 and 2021 value row high. Personally, need to see a reclaim above there for continuation on ETH, and there's a good chance we can go back to 4k. I still remain in my spot, currently down around 10% on this spot position, and depending how we react this week, I will definitely consider exiting my spot, especially if this does start to confirm to be a bearish retest rather than a higher low before a reclaim, and then I will look at exiting my spot. It's not too different to Bitcoin PA, right? In terms of the market, I think just focus on Bitcoin and what Bitcoin is doing and work around the rest of the market. Have again, look, got some nice buy signals on ETH down here and a good divergence forming actually on the 30-minute chart. So this is quite interesting. Could be a good long for ETH down here as well if Bitcoin starts to confirm this bottom into 103,500, then we could be looking at some moves up this week. The XY, following up from my comments last week, continues to remain in this resistance area between sort of 99 to 101. As long as we remain below this area, and we should reject and form new lows. It's important to see how the Fed pivot towards the end of the year. If there is no rate cut, then there's probably going to be more suffering in the crypto markets, and a positive move from the dollar if so, which will again, you know, will be pretty detrimental for the markets. And I don't think risk assets will like this so much. In terms of altcoins, I'm personally looking at shorting things right now. I got taken out on Resolve today at the top. This is the only short I took today. But right now, my sort of mindset towards altcoins is that today's top gainers are tomorrow's top losers. And that has been the case for the past couple of weeks. And one of the main reasons why my main positioning in terms of leverage has been on the short side. I'll continue to look at shorting altcoins with good triggers until we get a good higher time frame shift from majors. I don't think it's worth putting all your eggs into altcoins. I think a lot of the moves are going to full retrace. We can see what happened to privacy coins as soon as ZEC topped the market, fully retraced. But yeah, just wanted to quickly say that I'm running a 15% trading bonus cashback for people that sign up to Blofin on my ref link. Also going to be giving access to my system and my alert system to people who have signed up on the Blofin ref link. Equally, people who are accessing the wealth group through my ref link as well will have access to this bot. So make sure you sign up to either of those. And right now until the 25th of November, I'm running a 50% trading bonus cashback on Blofin. So make sure you sign up. That's personally where I'm trading at the moment, and I am really enjoying it. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for today's market review. I like to try and whiz through these, otherwise they take like 20 minutes. It's worth it just getting it all out of the way. Obviously, if you're a little bit confused, go back, and if not, leave a comment and I can reiterate my thoughts. Catch you guys later this week live on Twitch tomorrow with Impulse on my Twitch, so make sure you come and tune in for that at midday. Thanks very much if you got this far, and catch you in the next video. Bye bye.